Thousands of scientists dispute the very existence of man-made global warming, citing natural cyclical changes that saw vineyards in Roman northern England and a Swedish army march over the frozen Baltic in 1658 to Copenhagen. As an army of global warming zealots marches to Copenhagen, the truth is that their Orwellian consensus is based not on scientific agreement, but on bullying, censorship and fraudulent statistics. In the words of leading climatologist Professor Lindzen, future generations will wonder in bemused amazement that the early 21st century's developed world went into hysterical panic over a globally average temperature increase of a few tenths of a degree, and on the basis of gross exaggerations of highly uncertain computer projections contemplated a rollback of the industrial age.
What is your fundamental point? Is it that carbon emissions are not causing global warming? Is it that human beings simply can't do anything about it whether or not they are?
The fundamental point is that over the history of time, climates have always changed. We've had rapid changes, they've been large, they've been driven by extraterrestrial forces, they've been driven by many other forces in the past, but not one great climate change in the past has actually been driven by carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide is plant food. We cannot stop carbon emissions because most of them come from volcanoes. It is a normal element cycled around in the earth, and my science, which is looking back in time, is saying we have had a planet that's been a warm, wet, greenhouse planet for more than 80% of the time. We've had huge climate changes in the past, and to think that the very slight variations we measure today are a result of our life, we really have to put ice blocks in our drinks.
Well, Linda Phillips, is it a scam perpetuated by a vocal minority, all this?
Yes. I've always thought it was a scam, even before the rather sensational revelations of the recent days about the email traffic involving various a small group of scientists who appeared to be basically conspiring to deny the evidence that the climate was getting colder rather than hotter. The fact that there was this email traffic between this small group of scientists doesn't itself prove there was a scam and a conspiracy and all the rest of it, because this was only, 4 or 5 scientists, although they were very prominent on the global warming agenda. But what's most interesting about this email traffic was that the reason for their concern was that they didn't know how to deal with the evidence, the scientific evidence, which was casting such terrible doubt on their whole theory. One of them said, for example, I have my own article on where the heck is global warming. The high in Boulder, Colorado, for the last 2 days was below 30 degrees Fahrenheit. We've broken records the past few days for the coldest days on record. The fact is that we can't account for the lack of warming at the moment, and it is a travesty that we can't. And what this email traffic said to me was that here you have a group of people, and this is the global warming agenda generally, for whom they know it's an unchallengeable fact that global warming is happening. And so when they see the evidence that it's not happening, the facts, the scientific facts, have to be made to fit the theory. Now, that is zealotry, it is ideological zealotry, it is totalitarian in its attitude. The fact is, I'm afraid to say, and you may find this a little hard to understand and to take, because certainly the BBC isn't telling you this, but there is no evidence for global warming. That is to say, there is no evidence. Wait, please. I know that you are an audience of open minds who already showed it so this evening.
Phillips, come to the point and get on with it, would you please? Because then we can have other people involved in the discussion.
Let me tell you that the seas are not rising any more than is in any way out of the ordinary. The ice is not decreasing, it is increasing. The polar bears are increasing in number, and the temperature is going down, not up. Right. There is no evidence for this whatsoever.
Except in this studio. Marcus Brigstock.
Please. Yeah.
Reagan is preparing to host experts and world leaders next month to discuss how to prevent climate change and global warming. But while they'll be looking to put new restrictions on greenhouse emissions, not everyone in the scientific community is in agreement. RT spoke to one Russian scientist who says, far from heating up, the Earth is actually heading for a new ice age.
The temperature is not in any way affected by the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The more carbon dioxide there is, the better it is for humanity. And I will explain why. Carbon dioxide is like bread for green plants, so agriculture gains significantly if there's more of it. In fact, the Earth is now moving towards a new ice age. The temperature is not falling sharply, just 0.3 degrees in 1,000 years, but that's just the beginning. It's a general trend with some highs and lows. There was a time when there were green fields in Greenland and when the Moskva River was covered with ice in August. What we see now is a high due to increased solar activity, but still the general trend is that the temperature is falling.
And a British climate scientist has admitted that emails retrieved from his inbox, which question many accepted truths on global warming, were actually genuine. The documents appear to show that scientists were holding back or even ignoring certain data. One even suggested using a trick to hide a trend of falling temperatures.
In fact, there will be no bemused amazement, for the reason for this hysteria is clear. It is designed to provide the excuse for a political project of the globalists to replace national democracy with New World Order global governance. It has nothing to do with science and everything to do with a globalist common purpose to tax and control us while making billions for corporations in the green industrial complex. The anti-Western intellectual cranks of the left suffered a collective breakdown when communism collapsed. Climate change is their new theology, a secular religious hysteria complete with Pope Al Gore, carbon credit indulgences and the persecution of heretics. But the heretics will have a voice in Copenhagen, and the truth will out. Climate change is being used to impose an anti-human utopia as deadly as anything conceived by Stalin or Mao.